Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for a very special TAUCK webinar. My name is Anna. I'm an Industry Relations Specialist here at CLIA, and I'm going to just quickly go through some housekeeping before introducing our presenter. This webinar will run about 35 minutes with time for questions at the end. Please feel free to type your questions into the questions module of the webinar, and we'll get to them at the conclusion of the presentation. The webinar is being recorded and will be posted on CLIA's YouTube channel, which is CLIA Global. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Lora Schapiro. Lora is a proud 20-year veteran of TAUCK and is the National Account Manager for the Mid-Atlantic and Carolinas region. Before sales, she was a TAUCK Tour Director and also worked for many years at TAUCK headquarters in Connecticut. Lora loves sharing her passion for the company with travel advisor partners. And with that, take it away, Lora.
Thank you so much, Anna, and hello to our CLIA friends and partners. Thank you so much for taking a little time out of your very busy days to come and hear about what's new for 2020 in Tauck River Cruising. Perhaps I know some of you, or those of you I don't know. I really want to begin by saying thank you. Thank you for being our loyal partners. Thank you for being supportive of the TAUCK brand, whether it's river cruising, our land experiences, our family programs, small ship cruises, all things TAUCK. We wouldn't be who we are and where we are today if it wasn't for all of you. So thank you for that. Anna already gave you my life background. That pretty much summed it all up. 20 years with TAUCK. Started almost out of the womb, I like to say. And here I am today, able to talk to all of you about TAUCK River Cruising. So when your clients choose to river cruise with TAUCK, we offer them and you, their agents, true peace of mind cruising. We take your clients' time and money investment very seriously, and we want to ensure that they get everything they have ever wanted out of that river cruise experience. You may not realize it, but TAUCK has actually been offering river cruising opportunities since 1992. Think back to those days when river cruising was sort of an unspoken experience. There were only a few partners out there doing it, and even TAUCK wanted to try her hand at it back then. We knew even in 1992 when those itineraries, we had one itinerary that included part river cruise, part land, was so popular that we knew that coming down the pike was going to be just a boom in this industry. We also knew that for us, we could do it because we are all about the destination, about the experience that your clients have when they travel with TAUCK. And that, combined with our enormous network of supplier partners that we already had all over Europe, we have been able to craft what we have today, which are, I'm just going to say, some of the best river cruise experiences in the industry. Since 1925, when TAUCK first started 94 plus years ago, we knew that we wanted to be known for offering reliability, responsibility, and dependability. Now, Arthur also said back then that all he wanted was a congenial party with no grouches and no pessimists. Now, I can guarantee the congenial party on virtually any TAUCK tour, but I cannot guarantee that there won't be grouches or pessimists. We strive for that today, but sometimes it can be hard. So here we are 94 years later and still known for those same things. And these are especially important when it comes to river cruising, as we all know how tricky Mother Nature can be when it comes to the river. So when things like low water and high water situations occur on rivers, we do the right thing. That's just TAUCK philosophy across everything that we do with all of our 100+ itineraries, but especially when it comes to those specific things like the low and high water situations. All of our efforts are put forth to making the right decision and doing the right thing by you and our clients. We also vow to be in communication as often and as much as we possibly can about what's going on. Oftentimes that communication is we don't have an update at the moment, but we want to just keep you abreast of the latest and the greatest information, and we always will share whatever information we have as soon as it's available. And the most important thing for us is preserving that experience. We know that your clients purchased a river cruise. They didn't choose to purchase a land tour with us. As you all know, many of the other partners out there, when these situations arise, sometimes they do have no choice but to turn the itinerary into more of a land experience with busing, maybe even utilizing hotels. But we are very, very strong in our desire to give your clients what they purchased. And if more than 3 days of an itinerary are going to be truly affected because of the high or low water situation, we will oftentimes give your client choices to either continue on, letting them know what they'll be doing, or giving them the option to, if it's in advance, cancel or give a refund back to whatever portion that they were not able to do because of the situation. So we really just want to take this opportunity because we know that this was quite an issue last year. Last year was maybe one of the tougher years we've had in the last maybe 4 years, 5 years, when it comes to high and low water. However, with that said, only 3 or 4 cruises in total ended up getting canceled by us last year. So we were able to preserve that experience in many of those situations. So in 2020, which is what we are here to talk about today, we are truly excited to be introducing a new destination for us on river, a new river for us, certainly not a new river, but we are going to finally be on the Douro. As you already know, whenever TAUCK introduces a new itinerary, a new destination, or in this case, 3 new itineraries on this magical river, so much time, thought, careful attention, and care goes into the planning of all of our trips. We know that this has been a destination that's attracted travelers for quite some time, and we are so very excited to introduce a brand new vessel combined with the expertly choreographed itineraries, sailing on by far one of the most beautiful rivers in all of Europe, maybe even in the world. So these are our 3 options for Douro itineraries in 2020. The first is our longest. It is exploring the Douro plus Lisbon and Madrid. This is a 12-day itinerary that includes 2 hotel nights in Lisbon at the Intercontinental Lisbon and 2 hotel nights at the Westin Palace Madrid and a 7-night cruise in between. This is our longest and definitely our most popular of the 3. This has been open for sale for months. However, pricing just came out at the beginning of March, and we are virtually sold out already on this 12-day. I will let you know we are not 100% sold out. There are still a smattering of cabins available on select dates. One of our later dates, which is a late October sailing, we actually do still have some good space. So if you think this is an itinerary that your clients would enjoy, it goes both from Madrid to Lisbon and then Lisbon to Madrid, runs in both directions. I would reach out to us very, very soon because those last few spots will definitely go quickly. An itinerary that definitely has more space and more opportunity, which is also amazing, which is our Villages and Vintages, cruising the Douro River Valley. So this is an 8-day cruise only round trip Porto. This is actually a great option to combine with either another Portugal itinerary to see a little bit more of Portugal, or combined with a Spain, or really any other TAUCK itinerary for those clients looking to go to Europe for maybe more than just 8 days. But this is going to have all of the same wonderful experiences that the other itinerary has, just with the cruise only portion. And then lastly, we're actually introducing a family itinerary because this has definitely been a very hot destination for families as well, doing 2 nights in Lisbon and then a 5-night cruise round trip Porto. So on this Bridges itinerary, they will do things like dine in a royal palace. There will be bike riding in Porto. They will get to kayak on the Douro River. Now, I have personally kayaked on the Moselle River, and I would say hands down, it was one of my personal favorite experiences I've ever had as part of a river cruise. So kayaking on the Douro will be amazing. They'll also get to ride on a vintage tram and so many more fun, family-friendly activities. So those are our 3 options for 2020 on the Douro. Portugal is definitely, as I'm sure you all know, one of the hottest destinations, and they offer the most wonderful food, wine, culture, and scenery, much of which you see pictured here. With their 2,000 plus years of history in producing some of the world's best wines and aged port, to the beautiful city of Porto that you see pictured in the bottom right here, with the magnificent bridge that was designed by Gustav Eiffel, and the Rebello boats, which were for centuries the means of transportation for transporting all of the barrels of the port and the wine. All of these things, including the Portuguese music and the drinks and the food, are all going to be included, and the heart and soul of what we will include on our Douro River cruises. So this is our vessel. This is not a finished picture, as you can see here. She is under construction, but we're getting very close. She will be officially launched in the spring of next year. Her name is the MS Andorinha. She will carry a maximum of 84 passengers. I believe she will be one of, if not the smallest, river vessels, not only on the Douro, but on all of the European waterways. On that vessel, we will still have what is our standard, a cruise director that is an employee of TAUCK, and 3 TAUCK tour directors, which means that is by far the highest guest to staff ratio of any of the riverboat experiences out there. This small, intimate vessel will also have 2 restaurant venues, our regular dining room on the lowest deck, as well as a rooftop dining venue, which I'll show you on the next slide. And this boat is really being built specifically for the Douro, where you spend a large majority of your time on the sun deck, on the top deck, taking in the beauty of the UNESCO World Heritage wonders that are the Douro River. So here is what we envision she will look like. Here's a rendering of what she'll look like when she is done. So to me, she's about half the size of our longboats. She looks like a baby. I want to just put her in my arms and rock her. So quaint, so beautiful, and so perfect for this river. One really important thing that I want to let you know about is because there are so few cabins and so few passengers, we will have just 5 cabin categories on this vessel. If you know the TAUCK ships well, we traditionally have 7 cabin categories. However, because there aren't enough cabins to give us 7 categories, it is 5 cabin categories, which means a Cat 5 will be those suites, which is that entire top deck, and then a Cat 3 will be the standard, and then the Cat 1 are still the cabins on the lowest deck where we waive the single supplement. Also take note, you see at the back of the ship, you see the white awnings. That is our outdoor top deck restaurant, which on all of our other river boats is on the back of the ship, but on the top deck. So it's a fully enclosed restaurant, but this will be temperature controlled and will be up on the top deck so that you can enjoy the wonderful delicacies of the area while taking in the beauty. Now, the name Andorinha means swallow, which is a indigenous bird to the region of Portugal. And these birds are very well known and long known for their loyalty. They mate for life. They are known for always staying close to home. They're identified with fidelity and love. And we really thought that that was the perfect name because that is also what TAUCK is so synonymous with, is home, family, love, loyalty, and fidelity. And that is exactly what we plan to offer to your clients if they're cruising with us on the Douro River. So we are very excited and we look forward to you hopefully talking to your clients about that wonderful new opportunity to do the Douro with TAUCK. Now, in case you hadn't heard, also happening in 2020 is Oberammergau and the Passion Play. If you're like me, you've been talking about it probably since 2017, which is when I think we first started talking about our 2020 Oberammergau itineraries. So while it's been open for quite some time, I am sorry to report that while I'm highlighting our 3 river cruise itineraries here that include the Passion Play, these are all sold out. However, we do still have an opportunity for those clients that have not booked yet, if they want to go to the Passion Play in Oberammergau, which of course is done just once every 10 years. Otherwise, they will have to wait until 2030, which is sort of hard to comprehend. But we do have space on one of our land journeys, which is called Swiss Highlands and Bavarian Alps. This is an 8-day land journey that begins in Bern, Switzerland, the capital, and goes to Munich, Germany, and it does include the Passion Play. So what we have offered are river cruises that match the dates of that land itinerary, be it a cruise only for just 8 days on the river or a longer river itinerary. So they really can get the best of both worlds. They can do our land journey, get to see the Passion Play, and then they can also do a river cruise as well if they're looking for a bit of a longer experience. But for any of you that have already booked the Passion Play, who have clients going, I can assure you that they will have an amazing time. Jesus has been on tour, not Jesus himself, but the gentleman that played Jesus the last time they did the production 10 years ago. One of my colleagues just got to meet him recently, and they are very excited. The men are already growing their beards, and they are ready and preparing for this once-in-a-lifetime incredible opportunity to do the Passion Play. Another new itinerary that we will be offering in 2020 is called Yuletide Spirit, Amsterdam to Brussels. So this is, of course, another Christmas market journey from Amsterdam to Brussels. So that means that we will now have 4 different Christmas market cruises. We will have 2 on the Rhine, one that goes from Amsterdam to Brussels, this new one, as well as one that goes from Amsterdam to Cologne and back, or sorry, runs reverse also. And then we have 2 on the Danube. So we have our regular Christmas market on the Danube, and then also introduced this year our family cruising on the Danube. Which actually still has availability for Christmas sailings. They'll actually be sailing over Christmas. So how incredible to actually be in Europe on the riverboat experiencing Christmas firsthand. I will just also use this opportunity to just plug the fact that we still have 2019 river cruise space available. That might sound like a surprise to you. However, I just think with the abundance of product that is out there and the number of vessels that are sailing the rivers, we do still have space, when in the past you may have heard that we do tend to sell out. So if you do have clients looking to do something this year, please give us a call, check on our website for availability, and definitely take a look, as we still have spring and summer and fall and Christmas market space for 2019. This Christmas market itinerary, this Amsterdam to Brussels, is going to bring in the best of what that region has to offer, including things like the very, very famous Amsterdam Light Festival. We'll actually be doing a nighttime river cruise on the canals in order to best experience that light festival. It will also include a private visit to those amazing canal houses that line all the canals, a very special Christmas concert just for the Tauck guests, and then the charming markets, Christmas markets of Brussels and Bruges, Antwerp, Ghent, and Rotterdam, and so much more. We also want to let you know about a change to one of our existing itineraries that you may or may not be familiar with. It's called French Escapade. It has traditionally gone, and this year will go from Paris to Monte Carlo, or the reverse. Well, starting in 2020, this cruise will now begin or end in Cannes versus Monte Carlo. So it will now be called French Escapade, Paris to the Riviera. It's a 14-day itinerary with a 9-night cruise. And it includes 2 hotel nights at the Intercontinental Paris Le Grand, and then 2 nights at the amazing Hotel Martinez in Cannes. So this is just one of the wonderful offerings that we have for river cruising in France, be it the Seine, the Rhone, or the Zone rivers. I always like to call our Rhone river cruises the bread, wine, cheese, and chocolate cruises. I don't know, that sounds like magic to my ears. I'm sure it does to yours too. But I guess really, when you think about it, that could probably be true for any of our river cruises, because there is never any shortage of wine, cheese, bread, chocolate, or really anything that you can ingest, because we do a very good job of making sure that everyone is tasting the local delicacies. So that brings us to a big look at 2020 Tauck River Cruising. We will now be on 5 rivers. We will have 9 vessels, and of those 9 ships, they average across the entire fleet only 104 passengers, from our 130 passenger long ships to our 98 passenger classic ships to now our 84 passenger Andorina. That is 32 itineraries. That's a lot. That's a lot of itineraries. 32 different itineraries with over 250 sailings, 27 family trips for bridges, for our bridges river cruises, and 4 new itineraries in next year. So you might be asking, if you are not as familiar with the Tauck River Cruising product, why? Why Tauck River? Well, we believe in showing your clients Europe differently from everyone else on the rivers. We know that travel isn't just about the places that they visit, but it's the how. It's how they experience the destination and who they experience it with. So for us, we start with the destination. We start with those anchor cities that are the beginning and the ends. We start with those quaint little towns and villages that just are the hallmark of all of river cruising. We also believe that small is big, and we'll talk more about that in a second, again referencing the size of our ships and the small number of passengers that we have. We are always fully guided. We have our cruise director along with our team of 3 Tauck directors who are all employees of our company that are executing the experience and are with your clients throughout the entire thing from beginning to end. And then, of course, what you have come to know with Tauck, that all-inclusive experience, which makes it just such an easy, wonderful way to travel. So again, like I said, it is all about the destination, what we do, how we do it, when we get there. I myself am just back last week from being on the Danube. So I was telling Anna before we got started that I still have the blood, the wine going through my veins, I feel like. Could be blood. But it is just a joy being on the rivers. I happened to sail on the MS Joy, which was great. And just hearing the comments of the clients, you know, I'm lucky I get to do this more often than most, but the clients who had never done it before, just the awe of how we're showing them these places. For example, on every single Tauck itinerary, we have what we call a sparkling event. You may have heard about our private dinner in a private palace in Vienna that was once a recital hall for Mozart and Beethoven, to going and visiting the home of a count in France, or going to a private palace at the castle in Prague. This particular amazing venue in The Hague in Amsterdam is the home of the most famous painting, Girl with the Pearl Earring, and we do a dinner inside this world-renowned art museum that is again exclusive just to Tauck guests. This is how we are able to take our expertise and our 94 years of creating unforgettable vacations and combine that with the river cruise to offer your clients something they couldn't get with anybody else. We are also very excited to now introduce to your clients the opportunity of choice. This was introduced last year and is going incredibly well. I just got to experience it on my Danube cruise. So with that, we are offering a selection of itinerary choices, or of shore excursion choices, day to day as part of the river cruise, but they're all included. There is no additional cost for any of them. One of the things that we include very often on virtually all of our river cruises are biking excursions, and those are great. Some days we'll do a bike included option in a city, or we'll just bike along the river. On the itinerary I just did, they had the option of biking from one town to the next. It was just 18 kilometers. I mean, just a short bike ride. I didn't do it. But we literally, picked them up when we got to our next port. So, but in addition to biking, for those that maybe aren't as active, there are a plethora of options. Now, those options will come to you 90 days prior to departure. Because our operations team is thoroughly working hard to get these all set up, it's hard to get the information in advance of 90 days. But at 90 days, you should receive an email from TAUCK saying your clients are booked on, be it a small ship cruise or a river cruise. The options are there. The choice is there on both cruises. And you will get to work with your clients to choose those shore excursion options. Now, because we have on average only 100 people on the ship, it isn't like choosing shore excursions on the big, huge ocean boats where they sell out within a day. That's not typically our option. And while we say we can't guarantee that they'll be able to make changes, very often they are able to make changes at the last minute. If they, we can make changes too. We had to cancel some of our bike excursions because of rain and things of that nature. So it's definitely very flexible, but it really gives your clients the opportunity to personalize and really customize that river experience. Now, I try and tell all of my agents to mark your own calendars for like 95 days prior, just to give yourself a heads up, because I know how many emails you get, that you should be on a lookout for that email. And if at that 90-day mark you don't get the email, it goes into spam heaven, definitely reach out to us and get that information that you can pass on to your clients. So as I was saying, small is big. Now, this is one of the examples of our larger boats, which is the same physical size as many of the competitors out there on the river, however, carrying only 130 guests. That's maximum. And on average, we have about 10 solo travelers because we do waive that single supplement in those solo cabins. So we really usually end up with about 120 guests. The sailing that I was on had just half of that. So it really makes for such an intimate experience on board. And it just means that the common areas, which are the same physical size as all of the other vessels, just have fewer people. It doesn't take as long to get that included cocktail. We have smaller groups on our shore excursions. It means there are actually 2 choices for dining, so fewer people in the dining rooms, which means even better service. Before, we were talking about the Compass Rose, which is our main dining room on the lower level of the ship. This is Arthur's, of course, named after Arthur Tauck himself. This is our casual dining that is open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and has a lunch and a dinner menu throughout the entire day. Also offers continental breakfast in the morning, so it really gives them a great option. What you can't see here is there's gigantic windows behind, so when the weather is nice, they will open them up and it's like dining al fresco and having the scenery float by. Here is a chart of the different vessels that we have. Our Grace, Inspire, Joy, and Savor, which are 443-foot vessels. There are 4 of those. 81% of the cabins on those vessels are 225 square feet or larger. That's where small is big really makes a huge difference. It's the size of the cabins and the few number of people. On our shorter vessels, the Sapphire, the Treasures, the Emerald, and the Esprit, it's 69% that are over 225 or larger. And then on our new vessel, which again will have only 42 cabins, 76% are 225 or larger. And then you can see the number of suites that we have. So it's wonderful space. Everybody loves the cabins. You don't spend a ton of time, obviously, in the cabin because we want them to be in the lounge on the top deck, enjoying the scenery, enjoying the common areas on the boat. Our boat even had a spa and a hair salon, and people were getting manicures on board. So there's a hot tub on the top deck should they choose. So there's so many opportunities for them. Again, I mentioned that we are fully guided, which means that we have our team of TAUCK directors that are with your clients from beginning to end. So those tour directors are on the land portion with your clients, and then they meet the cruise director once they get on board. And then once they are on board, it is that team of 4 TAUCK staff, in addition to the ship staff, taking care of their every need. They get to know your clients by name. They get to understand their likes and their dislikes, and really are able to offer such a more personal and intimate experience, combined with those local guides who love to share their home turf with all of our clients. This is a very typical picture of what a group size looks like when we're on a walking excursion. Because there's only about 100 or so people on board, that means that the groups are a little bit smaller. I have seen them even smaller than this. You sometimes wouldn't even know that we were a group. And that really just speaks to the intimacy and the opportunity to get in to do things that some of like the larger groups aren't able to do. And again, that true all-inclusive experience. So there's nothing that isn't included from their all their beverages, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. And I know sometimes you can get questions from people who say, well, I don't want to pay for alcohol because I don't drink. Well, I myself am not the biggest drinker either. I love enjoying the local delicacies. But we actually, it's funny that we have to pay more to be able to get things like the Cokes and the Pepsis and the apple juice and the sparkling waters than we do for the wine, because the wine is being grown right across the water, and those other beverages that are non-alcoholic are actually being imported. So keep that in mind, is just a little trick when your clients are saying, well, I don't want to pay for alcohol that I won't be consuming. It actually costs more to not drink in the end. So just drink. But also we include, again, all the gratuities to the ship staff, to the local guides, to our transfer companies that bring them to and from the airport. Virtually every cost is included. The only thing that they could spend money on the boat would be in our boutique, in the spa, or for laundry if they choose to do it. So those are the only things that may potentially cost them money on board. Other than that, it's all included. So what that means is there truly is nothing to take your clients out of the moment. It means that by not having to worry about paying for anything, having the euros in the pocket. I know this is a very small thing, but TAUCK even offers the euros when someone has to use a public toilet when we're off the ship. That's just something, I didn't have the right currency. It only took a 50-cent coin, and TAUCK is always there to help that. And the guests love that. They really do. So again, no option sold ever, everything included from taxes, port charges, fees, you name it. So if you have not had the opportunity, just about a month or so ago, we launched our new website, the new TAUCK.com. I definitely encourage you to go and check it out if you haven't had the chance to do so. It is absolutely beautiful. It now really mirrors or mimics our breathtaking brochures that I'm sure you all love. It has enhanced navigation, so it should be easier for you to find the information and the itineraries that you're looking for. I personally love the interactive maps. So instead of just looking at a generic flat map that doesn't move, now as you click on the day by day of any itinerary, the map moves with you and you can see exactly where we're traveling. And then videos. We have such amazing new video content. We have new river videos, new small ship videos, and they are just headlined right on the itinerary page. So I definitely encourage you to go take a look at those. Now, this website has been a project in the making over the last couple of years. And so it's not 100%. I'd say we're probably 95% there right now. One thing that is not up, if you know our trip planner tool, there was an opportunity for you to create a sort of customized, personalized PDF, but like a quote for your clients. That is still under construction, as is part of Agent Connect. If you're familiar with Agent Connect, you should still be able to log in and see your bookings. However, if you need to edit or update passport information or flights, we definitely recommend that you call Res, or if you have any issues with the website at all, you can always contact us at salesteam@tauck.com, and we'll be happy to assist you. We appreciate your patience in the final stretches of this construction, but the final version of the site should be up in the coming weeks. So with that, before I wrap up and before I turn it back to Anna for Q&A, I want to let you know that as a thank you for attending the webinar today, we are going to extend a new to TAUCK promotion, so this is only for clients that have not traveled with TAUCK before that you book. It will be a complimentary pre or post hotel night at the beginning or end of any 2019 or 2020 river cruise if your client books and deposits within 30 days of this webinar. And this promotion is for those of you that are watching live today. If anyone listens to the recording within 24 hours of our live webinar, please email us at salesteam@tauck.com and ask about the promotion. This isn't combinable with any other promotions that TAUCK has out there. So with that, I'll turn it back to Anna and we'll see if anybody has any questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all that information, and anyone is welcome to keep questions coming. I'll start with the one that we have. That is from Cynthia, who is wondering if you can speak a little bit about ADA compliance on the ships.
Okay, so because we are in Europe, they do not have the same ADA laws that we are obviously used to and required to follow here. I would honestly say that I would not recommend river cruising for someone that is not able to walk. If they have no ability to walk whatsoever, it would be very, very difficult for them to do any river cruise. And I'm not just speaking about TAUCK. One of the main challenges, and boy, we just experienced this, is getting on and off the boats themselves. So when we are the first boat docked and our gangplank goes right out to the shore, it could be easy. It could be steep depending on the water level. It can, sometimes be a little bit of a challenge, but more often than not, we might not be that first boat, which means we have to go across or, worst case scenario, up and over another boat. Because of security reasons, a lot of the cruise lines are not allowing people to just walk through the lobbies, as has been done for the last many years. So they're closing off their lobbies when they're rafted together, and you have to go up the steps to their sun deck and down the steps on the other end just to even get off the boat. So that in and of itself does require the clients to be able to do steps and to be able to walk. And in general, I would say there's just a lot of walking required to do any of the daily experiences, being it a walking tour in Vienna or walking the charming cobblestone streets of a quaint little village like Dürnstein. Now, I will let you know that on board, for ease and comfort, we do have an elevator. We do have an elevator that goes all the way from the dining room to the third level, the top deck of cabins. The elevator does not go up to the sun deck, so they would have to, in order to get on the sun deck, go up at least a flight of stairs, if not two, to get to the sun deck. Our showers are all walk-in, so they don't have to step in. They're all regular showers, not tub shower combinations. But just in general, I would say river cruising is definitely okay for those that might require a cane, maybe a walker, depending on how much they can do. But I definitely wouldn't recommend it for someone who would, say, be wheelchair bound or have no ability to walk at all.
Okay, got it. Good advice. And we just have some good comments from Julie, who is loving all of this information. So thank you.
Good. Thank you.
And it looks like that is actually all of our questions. So you just covered everything in your webinar.
Good, 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 good. Well, if you do have questions that come up, again, please feel free to reach us. You guys are all spread out all over the country, so I'm not sure exactly who your TAUCK rep would be or if you guys have a TAUCK rep. So you could always just email questions to, again, salesteam@tauck.com.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Laura, for all the information. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I do just want to remind everyone that this was recorded. It'll be posted on our YouTube channel, which is CLIA Global. And thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.